And on today's episode, I got a couple of things I want to talk to you all about. First and foremost, I got my boy, Glenn Pratt. He's back in the house. And seeing how Mike Tomlin anointed Russell Wilson QB1 of the Pittsburg Steelers, I need to know Glenn Pratt's feelings about that and about his team moving forward as the NFL season is slowly approaching. And me and Glenn also talk about a certain quarterback beef that's going on. Two quarterbacks in two different leagues. Some can't miss stuff. I guarantee you don't want to miss out on it. And secondly, I have a special guest on the show. He is making his first appearance, a long-time friend of mine. He goes by the name of Ryan Gerstel, and he has his own show as well that you all need to subscribe and check out. It goes by the name of 5 O'Clock Sweats, and he has him, his friends, and it's some can't miss stuff. They make great content, whether it's from sports to stuff that's going on in pop culture, movies. It's some really good stuff that you don't want to miss out on. I guarantee that as well. So, you don't want to miss out on this action-packed episode. Look what we have here. We got my man, Glenn Pratt, back in the house. What's going on, G?
What's good, Joffey? Oh, when I hear from my man, you know it's time to call it how I see it. In this football season,
let's get it, G. Let's get it. So, G, me and JC, we ran some game last week on the Steelers and football in general. So, unfortunately, we weren't able to have you on. We had you in spirit. So, this week, though, I need to know, especially with the way that Tomlin just came out today in the press and announced that Russ is QB1, given the most that has happened this preseason with the Steelers and their offensive woes and everything. It seemed like the last game in the preseason they were able to have a little bit more of production. But I need to know, Jay. I need to know your feelings coming into Week 1 about the Pittsburgh Steelers and their quarterback situation.
Had a rough 2 years. Our offense has been obsolete, non-existent the last 2 years under Kenny Pickett, Trubisky, Mason Rudolph. I mean, our quarterback has suffered. Our quarterback play has suffered. I mean, it's just not confident. I mean, seriously, people are talking about the Steelers scoring touchdowns. I'm talking about the Steelers just getting the first down. I mean, we're talking about games where they didn't get the first down until the second quarter. It was the same this preseason. There was still no flow in the offense, in my opinion. Yeah, they came to life in the last game. It seemed like they were doing something. I need to see more. I'm going to give him 4 games. Russ, we know what he's done in the past. I personally would have went with Fields, the younger kid.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. I mean, we got Wilson. I said he's got to be better than Pickett. Then we got Fields. I'm like, okay, let's go with the young boy and see what he's got.
Right.
But then I was hearing people saying that they think that Fields might have been overrated coming out. Was he ever good? I mean, I'm getting a lot of those thoughts too. So we know what Russ has done in the past.
Right.
Steelers have what's considered a decent defense. So hopefully they're put in different situations that though Russ can succeed. I'm still a lot of question marks, man. I'm a little nervous.
No, reason to be definitely a reason to have caution and be nervous a little bit, especially everything going on. I mean, new offensive coordinator, everything. Having Arthur Smith involved and stuff. Big play action guy and whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, in terms of where they're at right now, I mean, everyone would kind of just say that Fields is the better talent. I mean, I think everyone can agree. But it seems like he had a little bit of a struggle, some issues, taking command of the offense and stuff. Some of his throws, decision making, it's a big question. I mean, that's always kind of been like the elephant in the room for Justin Fields. It's like, well, how do you read a defense? How do you pick up options and what reads are the right reads and who's really supposed to get the ball and where's the timing involved in everything? It takes a lot to be a quarterback. It's not easy. And then there's people out there like, oh, he's an athlete, should just go play wide receiver. Like you're just kind of or come up with gadget plays for him. And then in today's NFL, I mean, Lamar, Jalen Hurts, I mean, these other guys, they've been able to use their legs and use their arms to their strength and to what they do and their abilities. So it's just where do you find a medium here? And then we all know about Russ. We all know about how he's won the Super Bowl and how he's had a great resume and stuff. But to be thrown in this type of, environment and situation, it's a lot. But I think a veteran like him, I think it is the right move because it is the reason you brought him in. But in terms of talent and everything, if things go 1-3, Glenn, or 0-4, I mean, even if they go 0-3 or whatever, there's gonna be a lot of rambling, especially in Steeler country, about yanking Russ and putting Justin Fields in. So it's gonna be interesting to see how things progress and develop over time, especially with this situation going on. So it's gonna definitely be something we all got to keep an eye out for. So it's gonna be interesting. I did want to dive in. I wanted to see what you felt about the Steelers team moving forward in Week 1 and how they made their cuts and their roster adjustments in terms of having a 53-man roster.
Open up with Atlanta.
Yeah.
I want to say he'll be competitive. I can see him being competitive.
Yeah.
It's all offensive. It's an offensive league.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be able to score. Granted, defending and keeping the team from scoring always helps. But you got to be able to move the ball. You got to be able to score. And unless the Steelers can score, I mean, the roster I think is average. I don't know if where we're really special at. I guess defensively, why Highsmith. I mean, I guess we can say on the defensive side, definitely our strength.
Right.
And that's what we're probably going to have to ride. That's what put us in the position we were last year. I thought our defense was the difference.
Right.
I'm hoping Russell Wilson, like I said, it's one competent quarterback play. And I think our roster, I don't think is special overall.
Right.
But I think we do have enough, I think, to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see how far it goes. And a lot of times, two people bringing up Tomlin as an issue going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, people are saying he's the common link of all this ineptitude.
Right.
I don't know how much he has to do with it. I mean, I know he's the coach. I understand.
Right.
And because he's making the decision to put who on the field, and then the results not being where they are, I guess you have to hold him responsible or accountable.
Right.
And my son has been saying for a while that he's really not sure about him. I want to say that, he gets up in front of the mic and he's such a presence. You think, but where's the production, man?
Yeah,
There's got to be some production behind it because our playoffs of late, it's been tough.
It's like you guys are in unfamiliar territory. Like even growing up, me, like the Bill Cowher days and stuff, or even like you watching more of the Steelers over time is just like you've come accustomed to seeing them in the postseason and making like some type of run or some type of having a team that's able to contend for a championship. So to see how things have evolved these last 7 years, it's been really brutal. It's not brutal, but it's been tough to watch as a Steelers fan. All right, we'll leave it at brutal. But like even last year, squeaking in, being 500, and I mean, I think given the situation, their quarterback situation last year, and making the playoffs with Mason Rudolph, I mean, that is kind of like a reason to give this guy an extension. Of like, okay, you worked with less talent and was able to do it. So if we were able to give you a little bit more, we'll see how things progress and stuff. I mean, T.J. Watt's coming back. Their defense is still pretty solid for the most part. Cam Hayward, you got Minka Fitzpatrick. I think Joey Porter's going to be an all-pro cornerback this year, honestly. I think he's got some skills. I used to watch him back at Penn State. I've always been a fan of him. So there's a lot going on the defensive side. So, but like you said, at the end of the day, it's an offensive league, and you need to put up points. If you don't put up points, you're just going to be looking at the scoreboard with your hands in your pants, and you're like, damn, bro, what the fuck happened? So
I think they averaged something in the high teens last year, so that's just not going to get it done. I mean, seriously, I mean, the defense can only do so much.
I agree.
And then,
I agree 1,000%. There's only, you can't win a game 16-13 every time.
Come on,
it's not going to work. In today's NFL,
it's not going to be there.
It's not going to be. It's going to be tough. And honestly, I mean, they got a tough matchup against Atlanta. I really think Atlanta's going to be good this year. I mean, they have an easy schedule. That division's very easy. I mean, it's going to be like a yardstick to see like where they are, against a team that is definitely substantially made some upgrades to their team and roster, and then they're really trying to contend, given everything that they have going on. So it's going to be interesting to watch week 1 how the black and gold show up. You guys are playing in Atlanta too, I believe.
In
right?
Atlanta.
Okay.
I'm trying to temper my emotions. Like I said, I'm going to give them 4 games. I'll give them 4 games before I make my next evaluation because I'll give you a shot, Ross.
Yeah.
I'll give you a shot, Ross.
Yeah.
But I don't like what I've seen. No. I don't like what I've seen going in. No. I'll give you a shot, Ross. When the bullets are really flying and it's time to shine, I'm hoping you bring it. I'm nervous.
You gotta bring it.
A little nervous.
No, I agree. And like, if Russ doesn't bring it, I think the idea of him being a starting quarterback in the NFL, it's really over. I mean, I don't know how that will affect his ego moving forward, and like his plans in the future of continuing a career in the NFL. So there's a lot to take and consider. There's a lot riding on Russ here, like in terms of his own career and trying to salvage what he did back in Denver and trying to have a rebirth here in Pittsburgh. So let's see if we'll have to see how this all meshes out and turns out in the future. So
yeah, from a quarterback position, I mean, he's not old. I mean, he's 35.
Right.
You can still be productive at that age. You know what I mean? So what do you got? What do you got, Russ?
What do you still have in the tank, Russ? We need to know.
You know what I mean?
We need to know. So we'll see how that develops and turns out. So on this little last bit that we have here, G, I wanted to bring up a little battle that's been going on, and there's been some rumblings going on, and there's a quarterback out there, a specific quarterback out there that has been making rumbles on the airwaves saying that he is better than Patrick Mahomes. And this guy plays in flag football. He goes by the name of Doucette. He is 5'8", 140, but he is the most talented quarterback in that league. In the flag football league, they have won championships. I believe that they have another tournament because he plays for the U.S. national team. They have a tournament coming up, a world championship tournament that's going to be in Finland in 2 months, and I guess we'll see how things develop there. But with the Olympics coming up, the whole rumblings of him coming out claiming that he's better than Mahomes and doing things in the flag football league that Mahomes could never do. So, I mean, we see Mahomes doing stuff that we've never seen anybody do in the NFL. So, in a game where there's no contact and there's, other dimensions into that game, it's a lot different. He in this discussion that he came out and said this, Doucette also said this isn't something like where the U.S. national team is going to play basketball in the FIBA Cup. This is a whole other league, another sport. It's a lot different, and he thinks that the flag football players aren't getting the credit that they deserve. Just saying that they should just throw NFL players into the Olympics and compete for this. And I don't know, it's a bunch of hoopla, but where do you think this guy stands in saying stuff like this in terms of trying to compare himself to Pat Mahomes?
Well, when you're in a sport or a event or whatever you want to call it that is up and coming,
yes,
what better to do to get attention?
Yeah,
to bring up the big star and just try to bring some attention to you. I give him credit.
Yes.
I give him credit for that. But we all know what reigns supreme here in the United States.
Yes.
And now, when you talk about supreme athletes, you figure that you may be able to find athletes in the NFL that could play flag football. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to come right in and, there's probably some kind of adjustment difference, but I think they probably could find adequate talent in the NFL that could translate to flag football. I don't know how many flag football players, and I don't doubt there's some that could play NFL football at some position. I don't doubt there's athletes in that league.
Right.
But for him to come out and say stuff and start talking about Patrick Mahomes, I mean, that's smart on his part. It's definitely going to get ears and get attention, and that's cool, but we'll see what happens. Let it play out, but come on, man.
I mean, also, too, I hate to say this, but, he has to, show up, because if something were to happen where, he doesn't show up and, they were to lose or something in this sport, you get a big egg dropped on his face. And you're definitely putting more of a big target on your back, saying the things that you're saying are coming out like this. But like you said, it is a big attention grab. You're definitely gravitating people to watch this more. So in that light, that is a good, it is a good, it's a good move to do, honestly.
Absolutely.
So, when you get, the biggest star in another sport and you want to compare yourself and, say what you got to say because, you're in your zone and you're in your niche of, expertise, you feel comfortable going into that type of notion and stuff. So, we shall, it's definitely something to monitor and keep an eye on moving forward. But
it should be fun.
It should be fun. But, overall, if this guy was to pop up in the NFL, Glenn, I don't think he's going to make it. I don't even think he'd be in the XFL, honestly, in terms of what I saw in terms of arm talent and stuff. I don't think he could, in a league where you have to make tackles and really play football, I don't think this guy's going to do anything like that. So that's why he's in his lane. He's staying in his lane, and now he wants to chirp a little bit.
No, like I said, he's trying to bring attention, and he feels as though they're doing something a little different than the NFL. But at the same token, to think that NFL players can't do it would be ridiculous.
I agree. I mean, even the notion of what the Pro Bowl has become. The Pro Bowl is a flag football game. These guys are putting up numbers. They're putting up points. It's not like it's not nothing we can't they can't do. You know what I mean? Especially their conditioning and everything. There's definitely a lot of different factors involved here that could definitely, like you're saying, a lot of athletes in the NFL could go to that sport and look good. So I mean, I think there's definitely a contrast of the NFL athletes going to that sport compared to the flag football athletes going to the NFL and doing that.
Right.
So.
Not to him being successful at 5'8" as a quarterback in the NFL, I'm going to go very remote.
It's very, very remote. I mean, even our boy Kyler Murray's having some hard times out there.
Seriously, right.
So if you ain't on that level, you ain't got no chance. But
think about it.
But it's definitely something we'll keep an eye on, and I don't want to see this guy turn into Noah Lyles or something challenging professional athletes and turning into that type of light. So it's going to be interesting to watch. But we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll keep an eye on things moving forward, Glenn. We're almost there, man. We're almost there at the starting line of the football season.
A little nervous.
Understood. Reasonably so. I'm nervous too. I'm scared that the Eagles might not show up, but I'm very confident. I believe in this team, and I believe in what our GM has set up for us to watch this year. So, health is an important thing. Health is a beautiful thing. So we'll see how things turn out. The NFL season's a funny thing. You never know. There's a lot of trap doors along the way, and people get sucked in and go bye-bye. So we never know.
We've seen this Eagles team be successful. I mean, they've lost a couple key pieces here and there, but as long as you got the trigger man, and if he's the real deal, it'll be interesting to see. Eagles will be in it. They'll definitely be in it.
I agree. So I'm crossing my fingers, and I'm hoping for your Steelers too. So we'll see. Well, G, I appreciate you coming on, man. I do.
And I always appreciate you, Job. You have no idea how much I love to call it how I see it.
Yo, much love, my friend. Until next time, all right?
Man. Be safe, Job.
You too. You too. So, on this week's episode, I have my special friend, Ryan Gerstel, from the show 5 O'Clock Sweats, that you all need to check out because it's good content, it's a good laugh, he touches bases on a lot of different topics and stuff. It's really good and interesting stuff. But what's going on, Ryan? I'm glad to have you on and hear you call things as you see it.
Yeah, Joe, I appreciate you inviting me. This is awesome. I'm super excited. I know we talked about doing this for a little bit, but I'm finally glad we got to finally get some time to get together.
Absolutely, man. It's all love. I'm glad to have you on, and being big fanatics of baseball, especially the Phillies, as we are. We go back, right? We go back playing on the little league teams and everything in the Northfield squads. But I always appreciate your mind towards baseball. You have a great mind. We've played the game. We understand the game. So I'm interested to hear your takes about where the Phillies are right now, especially after watching today. After watching Taijuan Walker go out there again and do what he did. I want to hear your opinions towards our guy, Taijuan.
Yeah, so first two games of the series, they won the first two games out of the three against the Astros.
Yes.
We're flying high. Vibes are high. We're like, okay, Bill might be back.
Yes.
It's a good thing they won that game yesterday. Nola pitched his ass off.
Yes, he did.
He's been awesome.
Yes.
I think we all expected a letdown today, but there was a part of me that was like, hey, I think the Phillies are kind of back with the magic a little bit, that early season magic.
Yes.
And it's like maybe we can overcome Taijuan Walker. And that first inning kind of just set the tone a little bit. He almost he had let the first two runners on. They almost get out of the inning, 2 outs.
Right.
And a throw over to first base, Harper kind of muffs it a little bit.
I know.
He's just not paying attention. Two-base scores from third. That was frustrating.
It is. It's still a work in progress with him at first base.
Yeah, I know. And Bryce has a tendency to sometimes lose focus.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah, he totally lost focus on that play. Altuve was watching him the whole time, and he saw when he wasn't running, he took the base, and after that, I was like, here we go.
I know, and that's such a backbreaking play for Taijuan too, because he's he's breathing a sigh of relief, I can get out of this.
Right.
2 outs, I can avoid the letting the first two runners on, and after that, it was just kind of a disaster.
Yeah, it went downhill after that. I mean, Alvarez, as we know from the World Series that we played them a couple years ago, he freaking torched us. But he torched us today. I think he had 3 home runs. It was brutal. I mean, I think we had Weston Wilson pitching a little bit after coming back from fraternity leave and everything. But, I mean, it was good to see them the last 2 games, like you were saying. Last 2 games, they looked good. They were hitting the ball. Even that series with the Royals, it's been finally, bro. I think in that series with the Royals, they had up to 32 hits in the last 2 games or whatever.
22 runs in the last 2 games.
Yeah, they put up some crazy numbers. I'm just I wish they could hit like this every time. But, they've been streaky, and August is an important month for baseball, but down the stretch now, September is vital. And given that we were about to be in a 4-game series with the Atlanta Braves, who are now 5.5 games back after us losing today, it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm actually going to the game tomorrow. Hopefully, I don't jinx it. I'm trying not to be a jinx. I've been at quite a little bit of a jinx, but going tomorrow. I mean, I think Chris Sale's pitching tonight, so I mean, without him in the way, I think that definitely can help us in this series. Lopez is still a really good pitcher. They still got some arms out there. I think Charlie Morton's going to pitch tomorrow. Our good old friend Charlie Morton. So,
Charlie, man.
Phil, I know. That's what I'm saying. He definitely became somebody when he went to Tampa Bay and had his little run there and helped them in their playoff pushes. But given where Atlanta is, I'm not too scared of Atlanta, especially we've had their number in the postseason the last couple years. But they're still a team to watch out for. Especially since with Snedeker there, he's won. He's understanding how to go on a playoff run and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see. So. I mean, what's your takes on how they've been sliding since the All-Star break? I mean, I know most of Philadelphia feel like the ceiling has fallen and everything is collapsing under us. So.
Well, I mean, the beginning of the season, the first half, they were finding ways to win games. Now I just feel not so much recently, but for a time, for at least a month, or basically the month after the All-Star break, they were finding ways to lose. The pitching would be awful, and then the offense would go off, and then the pitching would be lights out, and the offense couldn't scratch a run across the plate.
Right.
So it was just bad pretty much across the board. The bullpen was a disaster.
Yeah, I know.
Because they got Estevez, who I really like.
I did too.
Pretty good. Yeah, he's very good actually.
He had a couple hiccups initially, but it seems like he's smoothed out.
Yeah, and Austin Hayes has been okay.
Yeah.
He was hurt for a bit, but I know a lot of fans were disappointed by him being the big acquisition. I mean, I actually think Estevez was the big acquisition, but
I do too.
But Hayes, he's a guy that you don't really think about. I mean, he was relegated to being a bench player with the Orioles.
Yeah, after an All-Star year last year, I mean, these new guys on their bench, these new outfielders that came in, they really stepped up from Santander and everybody else in Baltimore. They've been really good, and he fell out of the shuffle, like you said.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, John Middleton and Dombrowski, they pretty much said we're not gonna make any big moves. We're gonna trust our big bats, the guys that we're paying millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to, and they're gonna live and die with those players. And they were dying with them for a while. They're starting to come around a little bit.
Right.
But specifically Harper and Turner,
it's been sliding.
I'm a huge Bryce Harper fan. I love the guy.
We all love him.
Yeah, it's hard not to love him, but he's been bad.
I know.
He's been better recently, but I mean, since the All-Star break, and I'm not counting stats today, but he's only hitting 223, OBP of 280,
right,
and slugging percentage of 403. I mean, the guy, he's just not really getting on base.
No.
just think he's trying. Like, he's just trying to hit a 5-run home run each time
he's
swinging.
He's really trying to force it. It seems like he went from an MVP candidate, no doubt, to just a guy on this team that's really good. And I hate to see that because we all know. But also, too, there's a chance that I hate to say he's streaky because given his numbers, I mean, like you were just iterating, he's been pretty good of late, like been better, but
he's been better.
It's the streakiness that we need to see turn into consistency. And given everything with this team, it's crazy to see how things turn out. I think Castellanos actually become our most consistent bat now.
I was gonna say, speaking of streaky, man. I mean, Castellanos is like the poster boy for streaky.
Exactly.
And he's been damn good for like a while now.
I know. Ever since June, I think he's been batting over 270, which is really great for his numbers. And given everything, like he's actually been kind of the glue holding our team together. And it's been coming through.
Bomb off Verlander.
Yes, that was huge. And he, it's good to see. I'm really happy when he's doing good. I'm almost like his son over there cheering and getting all happy for him. But it's good to see him doing good. I like to. Marsh is starting to come back to life a little bit. I understand being on the IL for a little bit, you get thrown in a little bit of a funk, especially when you get back into the swing of things. But I'm glad to see him coming back. I want to believe in this team, right? I do. But we do have these issues in the bullpen that seem to be little bit by little bit starting to stabilizing. Yes. Ever since they got rid of Dominguez, and thank goodness they got rid of Gregory Soto, man.
Dude, he's been awful with the Orioles. Like, my dad's an Orioles fan.
Yes.
He's like, why the hell did we get Gregory Soto?
They really took a chance with him, and it's like his stuff is good. He throws 100, but it's just his command and his location is not there, and the hitters have just been having a day field with him. And to see where he is, I'm not sure if he's still on their team. I'm not sure if he got designated for assignment or anything.
I haven't heard anything. So I
haven't
think
either.
He's still in the bullpen.
But
and Randy's actually been pretty good with them.
Yeah, he has. He had one hiccup, but other than that, he's been pretty solid over there. In his comments, even when he left, I was like, you hate to see a player like that go, especially since he was like homegrown in our system and farm system, and he became a player. Yeah, he's had some injuries that kind of slowed him back, but I always appreciated the work he's done for us. So, but I mean
he was lights out in 2022. Like, they don't get as far as they did.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. That's like I wish we could see that guy come back to form, but unfortunately, Dave gave the option to let him go down to Baltimore and do his thing, which he deserves to win and be in a place where he has a chance to win. So hoping for the best for him.
We might see him in October.
we might possibly. I know.
Who knows?
I can imagine you and your old man, going out there and going to the World Series. That'll be a dream.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So we've been going back and forth for the last couple of years. It's been rough.
That's really cool though. That's that definitely that's definitely cool to see from both sides or whatever and see how things turn out. It's like you almost kind of want that to happen so you can watch it with him and enjoy that with him. That's really cool though. I did want to bring up to the issue back to the bullpen though. I mean, we got rid of Soto and Dominguez, but we've also had problems with Jose Alvarado, which has become such a big, I don't even know, presence in the bullpen.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen his best stuff in a while, and now given that he's taken a leave of absence when we're in a playoff push here, it's kind of interesting to see how things get turned back. Who knows? Maybe he can come back in the playoffs and actually give us like a feel good story and become refreshed and rejuvenated and actually become electric again. That would be like the ideal situation. But to have that happen, it is a daunting task, and we're gonna have to see where things line up with that in terms of his his personal issues that he has going on and everything. But
yeah.
Go ahead.
So I mean, first of all, obviously, I hope everything's good with him.
Right.
I mean, this kind of reminds me. Remember Adam Hazley?
Yes.
He took a leave of absence.
Yes.
And we never saw him again.
Yes.
I don't think that's going to happen with Jose Alvarado. I mean, Thompson's already said he expects him back this season.
Right.
Just we don't know when.
Right.
It's just very strange. I hope everything's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could just be like a mental break.
Yeah, it could be because it seems when he's on the mound and things are starting to go bad for him, he really has a hard time adjusting. He's breathing hard and overthinking some of his pitches, shaking off pitches and stuff, and his location's been not where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And
that was his problem when he first came up. When he first came up,
right.
Or when we first got him from Tampa Bay. He was a guy like Gregory Soto, kind of had the electric stuff, electric fastball, electric cutter. The cutter actually developed later.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he was kind of just in his head early on, and then they sent him to the minors in 2022.
Right.
Came back and was amazing.
Yeah,
Lights
exactly.
out. I mean, obviously we think of the Alvarez home run in the World Series.
Right.
But besides that, he was incredible. Unhittable.
We wouldn't have been where we was. We wouldn't have got to where we were if it wasn't for him, honestly.
No. And he's just he became just a fan favorite kind of because in the in the clubhouse post game interviews and whatnot, he's all joyful and jolly, laughing, and you can just tell he loves playing baseball and he just loves to have a good time.
I mean, even this spring training, I think he was the first guy there. I think he was the first guy ready to go to work and everything, and that as fans we love to hear that stuff. Especially since last postseason was a little shaky and stuff, but to hear that type of stuff, for him to come back and try to do that, and then to see how things turn out this year, it kind of is a big setback for him. And I mean, we're all hoping he can come back and we can see the form that we used to see from him. So we don't want to see another Taiwan out here, man.
I know.
Especially in that aspect.
But yeah, I mean, Alvarado, like, against lefties this year, he's been lights out. Like, even with his struggles, like, he's been very good against lefties.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's got great elite stuff. He is, you know, an all-star caliber relief pitcher. He is.
Yeah, so. They're going to need a left. Like, I know they have lefties out of the bullpen. They have Strom.
Yes.
They have Banks. Who's been pretty decent.
Yo, been very strong for us. I saw his ERAs under 3. I mean, ever since acquiring him, he's definitely been, you know, filling in perfectly. Even Jose Ruiz been pitched in pretty well.
Dude, yeah, I like Jose Ruiz.
His story is very interesting too, coming as just like a, you know, a bullpen catcher and just understanding pitchers and how they throw, and then eventually becoming a pitcher and becoming a good reliever for us. Honestly, he's had some hiccups. He's had some hiccups this year, but it seems like right now he's throwing his best stuff, and then his confidence is there. You know, and that's, you know, as a pitcher, man, you need that confidence to go out there. Like, if you don't have that, I think hitters sense it, and they almost can sense what you're going to throw at them and take advantage of it. So it's a big thing.
And he's not he's not going to be a guy that put in high leverage situations. Like,
right.
He's been a good, like, mop up guy if they're down by a couple runs later in the game. Like,
right.
He'll come in, but he doesn't let any runners on. Like, he doesn't really he keeps the score the way it is. Like, he doesn't let them score any more runs. And I love his emotion on the mound too. Like, he gets hyped.
Yeah, he like, it's good to see that energy. Like, Alvarado has that energy too. There's other guys that they have that energy that they want to bring out because, you know, given everything with the Citizens Bank fans and everything, like, you know, it's like energy you want to feed off of. That makes you feel good when you accomplish things and get the results you want to see and have for the team in general. So it's a really good thing to see. And, you know, I'm really excited. I'm crossing my fingers, hoping for us and stuff. So we'll see how things turn out. So I just want to close up real quick. If we were to choose anybody on this roster, Ryan, I mean, I guess we could say Bryce, but, like, maybe who would you think needs to step up the most for us?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Bryce is the biggest one. He just needs to be more consistent.
Yes.
And then I'm going to throw Trey in there too. It's just like the
I mean,
combined,
honestly,
like, they just need to be more consistent. And the irony is that as of today, I don't know if you saw on the broadcast earlier, but Trey Turner is now eligible for the batting title in the NL. He's only like 5 points behind the leader.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like, it's not that competitive this year. Like, it's,
no.
I think the highest like 309 or something.
Hitting isn't what it used to be. It really isn't, right. It's not like we're not watching Tony Gwynn out there. Even like Luis Arias, like, you know, having his little seasons that he was having, he's not the same. Like, you know, it's different now. It is, and pitchers almost have an advantage at times. But, you know, and then it's that or the long ball, or, you know, I mean, it's become more power hitting than contact hitting, and that's, like, you know, the true beauty of that is really kind of diminished over time in today's baseball.
Launch angle.
Yeah, launch angle too, you know, projection and stuff, and also, like, these ballparks, there's some ballparks that aren't, like, you know, they're shorter in size and other stuff, so there's a lot of different like factors into that. But
exactly.
I agree with you with Trey, especially on the defensive aspect, man. I almost want to experiment and see what it would be if we had Bryson Stott and him playing second base.
But Stott is so good at second. Like, he is a Gold Glove caliber second.
He is, but, like, also too, he was brought up as a shortstop. Like, he would be
great over there too.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. I almost want to experiment it, but it won't ever happen just because of the contract issues and everything and the obligations of that.
I guess I wasn't keen on how below average he was at shortstop, Turner.
It's
I
really
thought
crazy.
he was like a solid shortstop, and I think overall he is like a solid shortstop, but he's not. You know, he's not a Gold Glove. He's not going to sniff the Gold Glove ever.
No, the only award he'll possibly come to, like you said, might be the Silver Slugger. So, but I mean, like, he's funny too. I mean, like, we've seen the we've seen his greatness come out when he has, you know, weeks of just, like, great hitting, and then even like last. Yeah, go ahead.
He goes on tears that I've never, like, Ryan Howard-esque tears.
I know.
In regards to, like, hitting home runs in bunches.
I know. I think in the one stretch he had, like, in 7 games, he had, like, 5 home runs right before the All-Star break. He was on fire, and it's like, it was good to see because he was coming back from injury, and there's a lot of questions about that. And then now to see where things settled in. I mean, I know last week he got on one of those streaks where he looked really good, and then he falls a little bit again. So I guess we'll have to really see how he turns up against Atlanta. And those first 3, it's really important because if they, you know, between Schwarber, Turner, and Harper, if they just can't get on, it's kind of, they need to start things and ignite things for this team on their lineup, and at least on their offensive side. So when they're not when they're not producing, a lot of things just end up slowing down for them.
Exactly. But probably honestly probably the most important guy, I'm thinking about it now, is probably Alec Bohm.
Yeah, I agree.
He hit behind Harper, and he's had a ton of RBI opportunities lately, and he's come up short in a lot of them.
I know. And that's what, as a cleanup guy, that's what you got to do. You got to clean up the bases.
I know. Man. And he's not going to be a home run guy. He'll never be a home run guy.
No,
I think
he's
he
not.
can still be like a 20 to 25 home run guy, which is fine. But even this year, he's only got, 13, I think?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's probably he might round out at maybe 20. We'll see if that's good.
Yeah, he has to have a really good September for that.
I know.
But and I can, like, it's nice. It's like a double-edged sword because he wears his emotions on his sleeve.
Yeah,
to a fault almost.
Yeah, as we all know.
Like, I appreciate that you care and that you really want to succeed. Like, obviously everyone does.
Right.
But it kind of comes off as like childish sometimes, like a little bit of a petulant child sort of vibe from him. Which, you know, Harper had his arm around him the other night in the dugout, trying to talk to him. I mean, he's. I think at the end of the day he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But he just needs to chill out a little bit, and he just needs to relax up there and do what he was doing earlier in the season because, I mean, he was making contact every time.
I know he was.
Just put the ball in play. That's all you got to do.
Exactly. That's really all it is. They're not asking you to do. They're not asking you. I mean, we know your capabilities, and we're not asking you to hit a bunch of home runs. We just need you to, hit the ball and get people on base and get people around the bases. That's really what it comes down to. So, but you're absolutely right about that. I mean, we all remember, his little errors when he was first starting off at third base and, not taking the crowd very well. Even some of his comments when he was in the home run derby, he's like, oh yeah, look at what I did there. You know what I mean? Just like, it's kind of like immature. Like, come on, bro. Like, grow up. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't help you talking like that, honestly. Or just like you said, like having some of his emotions on his sleeve in the dugout, and there's other guys that have to, like, they notice it and they're trying to, like, uplift it because something like that could bring other guys down too. And it triggers people in different ways. So
yeah, I don't want to blame the home run derby for it either because it's not like he's been awful. He's still hitting. I think he's still hitting like 280 plus.
Yes,
since the All-Star break.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know what it is about the RBI situations, but he just hasn't. He's just been coming up short a good amount of times because he's frustrated.
I agree, and even for the most part, like other guys too. Like we've been straining runners on base. It's been a theme that we need to get out of.
This has been a thing since we've been watching the Phillies when we were younger.
Yeah,
the Phillies have always struggled with runners in scoring.
I know. I can't imagine
every year.
And so like Jim Tomei or Ryan Howard come up and just knock it out or something. But,
exactly.
But no, you're right. I mean, that's what it's been for us ever since we've been growing up. But overall, I think we're just gonna have to cross our fingers and hope for the best, right?
Yeah, well, listen, I'm never gonna lose faith in this team because I think the team that pre-All-Star Phillies, like that team is in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's what yes.
They really just need. I mean, 2022 is a perfect example. They were absolute dog shit going into that final stretch. Like they had to scratch and claw and win some games in Washington. They won that first game in Houston,
right?
To clinch that playoff spot.
Yeah,
and then they got hot at the right time. Like this team's a lot better than that team,
right?
On paper,
I know.
They just need to get hot at the right time. If they can finish September strong, like even just like a solid week of good play and carry that into the postseason, I mean, this team is talented enough to win the World Series. They just have to execute.
I agree, and that's what it comes down to. And that's what Topper gets so much heat about. Oh, you should change this, you should change that. Well, on top of that, he trusts his players to do the job, and at the end of the day, they have to do the job. He is putting them in the spots to succeed, and they're not executing, and that's the biggest thing. You have to execute, especially if you're put in a spot. That's what you've been waiting for. You're waiting to get put in these positions to win, and you have to finish the job, and that's really what it comes down to.
I think players can sense when a manager's panicking. Like if he makes like a lineup adjustment, which if he hasn't done one all season, or I don't know, makes a change, doesn't play a certain player. I think the clubhouse can sense like when the manager's panicking, and I feel like they respect him and they love him so much because he is so kind of the steady hand that stirs the drink. Like he is. Yeah. I love Topper. I think I know he gets a lot of flack.
I do too.
But he's just he's very Charlie Manuel-esque.
Yes. He has that vibe. He just lets his players play, and he coaches and manages when he has to. And he always has his players back. I mean, whether it's freaking arguing with umps or trying to figure out situations that best suits that player or matchup wise. He's there. He's been around. He's been on Yankees teams with Joe Torre, and he's been around. He knows baseball, and given where he is, this might be his last chapter of his his managerial career and everything. But I want to win with this guy, dude.
I know. I want to win with this team, man.
I do too, man. I do.
I'm still haunted by last year because that team would have been my all-time favorite team of any sport.
I agree, and I think we would have definitely presented a way better matchup to the Rangers than having the Diamondbacks.
No,
I mean, I'm so tired. They become that team, Ryan. I just do not like them. They become our enemies, and then they've been playing hot, and how we played against them, when we played them in Arizona a couple weeks ago. But we'll see how things turn out. And personally, I hope we square up with them again. I do, because
a little revenge.
A little revenge, right? I think they gotta know, especially with freaking Thomas freaking sticking the flag in the mouth. That really made me mad. Like, I don't know. So
are you worried at all about the opposite effect that the winning division has done the Braves?
Yeah. I don't. I am a little worried about it just because I know that was their goal this year. I know Topper was trying to explain that over and over. It's let's win a division this year. Let's show the world who we really are, and they did. They are doing that. But sometimes that tails off. Like the Dodgers, for years and years, they win in divisions, and in the second round, you didn't get knocked out. Even the Braves are starting to come to that point now where they're even falling back. So it's going to be interesting to watch. It is. It's about being hungry, man. Especially in September, that's where teams really ignite and take off. So it's something we're going to have to keep an eye on.
I know. I believe in this team, though.
I do too. I mean, dude, I'm going to be watching until I can't watch anymore. So
hopefully it's not as heartbreaking as last year was.
I hope so. And hopefully, Ryan, we can see each other at the parade.
Oh, my God.
I need another one.
Don't get ahead of myself.
No, I know. Well, I need another one, Ryan. I do. I need another one.
Dude,
it's been too long.
We should have had it 2 years ago.
We should have. I almost, when we went up to, I almost thought it was in the bag. But, the cat jumped out the bag and scratched us the fuck up. So I know. It's something we'll remember the rest of our lives, but it is what it is. It's just comparable to the 93 team. So.
It's our 93.
Yes.
Basically. It's our generation's 93.
Yes. But, we got to bounce back with the guys we got. So we'll take it from there. But, Ryan, I appreciate you coming on. This has been a fun collaboration talking about the Phillies.
Yes, sir. I feel like we could talk for another hour.
I know, honestly, we could. And no, hopefully, maybe in the future we can collab again, hop on, and maybe during the Red October and everything, we can start like chopping it up again. But
Yeah,
I want y'all to listen up, okay? You guys need to follow and watch 5 O'Clock Sweats with my man Rye. Bunch of stuff, and it's really good. Watch, I follow, I listen, and I think y'all should give it a chance too. Honestly, it's a great show. Show my boy Ryan some love, all right?
I appreciate it. Yeah, we talk sports, movies, games, pop culture stuff. So
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good time.
No, it definitely is a good time, and I had a good time having you on the show, Ryan. Definitely a pleasure, man.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you inviting me. This was awesome.
Absolutely. Until next time, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll be in touch.